make you so special? Why did he bless you? Think about it. I woke up this morning. Gonna smile when I say that shit.
What up, Mike Eoff?
What's going on?
Not much. Well, I was curious what you think about the stash.
Your stash?
Yeah. You didn't comment on it earlier.
I noticed it, but I was like, I'll let them do what you got to do.
There's a purpose. There's a method to the madness, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if my roomies are getting in on this as well, but I want my roommates to basically, like, I want us all to grow up mustaches, get ugly sweaters, and then get Christmas pictures. I think that'd be fucking
Make a Christmas
hilarious.
card together.
Yes, a Christmas card. Like standing out in front of the house or something.
Send it to your friends and family.
With just aunt. Police officer stashes. It's like the dad stash, you know?
Yeah, I can respect that. Get like a little like Santa hats and reindeer antlers and shit. And that'd be fun.
Well, I've never grown out a stash like being serious. Like anytime I grow out a stash, I do it like sarcastically and then look at myself in the mirror and kind of laugh at myself.
And shave it right afterwards.
Yeah. It's like, so that's what I look like with a mustache. Like now I actually am fucking rocking the mustache. Yeah, exactly. So I grew up camping with you. To give the audience here a little bit of background on how I know you. Yeah. We went camping a fuck ton, dude.
Yeah. We did camping, like, we did 6 to 10 trips probably each summer for probably like 6-7 years almost.
At least, yeah.
Maybe longer than that. I still go with my family a lot still.
That's good for you. We haven't been in years, man. Me and my family. It's hard
when you have an extra kid too, so like she's busy, Milena.
True.
We have to coordinate too, so it's a little bit easier, but
like, what impact do you think that camping has had on your personality? Like, who you are today, how much of an impact is camping?
I think, camping personally has had a huge impact on me just because I chose to study environmental biology, and like a lot of that I can attribute towards my experience and stuff with camping with you and your family and my family, what my parents have taught me. So I would say camping has really facilitated like just what I wanted to do with my life. So I could, like, explore nature and find my interest, really.
That's one of my favorite things about you, man. Like, you have an appreciation for nature that we share, and I think that has a lot to do with camping growing up.
Uh-huh.
And because I love going out in nature. I love reconnecting with nature, like as frequent as I can. And it's really it's difficult, and it's really easy. It's difficult to reconnect, and it's super easy to get off and kind of forget about nature whenever you're here in the city of Springfield. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just like, it's almost like it helps you like just reconnect like spiritually when you go out there and you don't have any distractions.
There is a spiritual aspect
for sure. And
you can just get like just on a hike. There's something about hiking, just walking around in the woods, like almost like a creative mindset and like I don't know. It's very liberating, and
it's just like. It's just like no distractions. It's just you're thinking clearly. You know, you're not looking at other stuff. You're looking at what's there.
That's probably what it is more than anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to put it into words, but each time it feels the same. You know?
Yeah.
So
it's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's a fucking vibe.
Yeah.
So you said you wanted to work on or talk about personal growth, and I was curious what your mentality to improve as a person is.
My mentality to improve is just to take care of business, really. Like, do what you need to do, plan ahead, and kind of see where you want to be, and then see what's going to take to get there. Like, in years to come. That's what I've been doing lately. Like, especially because I've been like thinking about what I'm studying and where I want to do, and like what I want to do with my degrees as a junior. So, like, these factors are just coming into play, and I'm just thinking about it more and more of like what I need to do to get to where I want to be.
Right.
Right.
Kind of like setting goals within your major.
Yeah, and like job goals and what kind of money I think I'm going to need and what career path I want to go down.
Okay.
Like within my major.
So what are some of your goals, if you don't mind me asking?
My goals I need to complete an internship this summer. Like, that just needs to happen. Get some experience. I want to experience, because in environmental biology, there's a lot of work with like the private part where companies hire like these private people to do testing and to make sure that they like follow regulations essentially. So
Okay.
I just want to get experience with both the private sector and like the public government part of it, because it's like split 50-50 in my field. So just want to get experience both ways.
Okay,
really.
very cool.
So, yep.
Where do you like see yourself with your degree in like 5 years?
I see myself working, maybe running a team of people, like doing samples for, taking samples of like construction sites and mining sites in any area of interest to help with monitoring and regulation. Really, like if projects need to be happening to increase like this animal's population or something, then like I'll be on that. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like the cause and effect of nature. Like how if I maybe like I was listening to a podcast the other day and it was saying how they started killing all the bears in like I think it was like the Northwest, like up in Washington, and then something how they killed the bears led to a decline of bees because the bears would like scratch on the trees, which would cause some reaction, and that's interesting how nature's all like cause and effect.
You think that decline of bears would increase the bees, you know, in the scheme of things, just because, you know, bears are predators of bees, but I guess I don't know that specific example, but it's weird how it works that way.
It is weird.
A predator could disappear, could have a negative effect on it.
And as humans, we're so ignorant sometimes to just like mindlessly take out like whatever. Say an anthill that leads to killing of whatever, and then that kills something else, and it just leads to like us just taking out nature.
Yeah, and it starts with like, I've kicked plenty of anthills and been like, oh, this doesn't really matter, it's not a big deal. And then next thing you know, I'm like, if everybody's kicking every anthill, then we're going to have some issues. So it kind of goes to like, if you look at like human history, we've like killed out all of our predators, really. Like wolves, like pumas in the United States, like anything from nature that could have like preyed on us, we've gotten rid of.
One thing we can't kill out is coyotes, though.
Yeah. They're little bastard animals. Really. They serve a purpose, so they're important.
Well, dude, I've heard that coyotes every single time like you try to take them out. So like let's say there are 9 coyotes in a pack. I don't know how many coyotes are in a pack, but say you kill one, then somehow that leads to that like. Somehow it gives they are able to communicate that this one's dead, and then they always end up repopulating more whenever our efforts as humans to kill coyotes, the pack always gets larger. So like say we take out 2, I don't understand the science behind it, but somehow they always come out with they
adapt towards they'll reproduce more just because they're being hunted.
And it's something with the chemicals given off, like the females like understand that we need to reproduce more. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, I guess humans are a lot like that too, so that can make sense. You know, like anytime that humans have been threatened throughout history, you know, we repopulate.
I'm gonna look this up because I'm curious about the actual science because I butchered.
Yeah, I am really too. I'm really curious as well.
What do you think would be a good Google? I'd try coyotes population increase.
Hunting or like
hunting. Coyotes are some of the most interesting animals, man.
Yeah. They're very well-rounded. They can
jump.
They get it done.
They can jump like 8-foot fences or even higher than that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen one, but I don't doubt that at all. Or at least, I mean, dig under it, find a way around it.
Honestly, we might be looking for a while. This is like I'm super interested in this, but we need to keep the fluidity of the conversation going. But so in what ways have you say like I think it's important to kind of like as you have an intention to grow in life, I think it's important to kind of stop and reflect. Like in what ways have you grown as a person? Like over the past year, over the past 5 years, or whatever it is.
Yeah, a lot of it for me is just like awareness of like trying to cut out bad habits and build good habits, and like just knowing what is a bad habit and what's not helping you, what's tearing you down, and what is helping you and needs like is making you better, you know.
Okay.
And a lot of that is from like relationships that I've had. So not necessarily like I had any bad relationship. It's just that this person isn't affecting my life positively, or it's just, I don't know. They're tearing me down more than they're bringing me up. So
you've gotten better at dealing with like toxic people and energy depleting people.
Yeah, and not just like dealing with them, just more like finding like what they're like, why I do like spending time with that person, or like just focusing on, oh, this person is good to hang out with for fun, this person's good to study with, or just different stuff like that. So just taking the best out of people and like using that to help myself, kind of.
Okay. Like found the best in other people and almost applied their strengths to your personality?
Yeah, in a sense, more of just like, I don't know, knowing them better so that I can know myself a little bit better too. Like,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah. So like my roommate is opposite of me. He's super clean and like super like, he's really uptight, to be honest with him. But I've like tried to like help him loosen up and stuff like that. But he's just, that's the way he is. So
you kind of like, have, I guess.
It helped me learn more about just other people in general, and as well as myself, just like the way I am and the way that he's just that way. Like I'm not like, it's nothing wrong with him. He's just that way. So you've
gotten better at dealing with conflicting personality types?
Yes.
Okay.
And like while I've been doing that, it helps me like learn more about myself, because like I'm just seeing the differences in different people, you know.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It helps help me like build respect for people I didn't normally respect, or I don't know, stuff like that.
Like learning who you are through a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. That's been happening a lot. Like just like now that like I go home and visit my family, I like watch my dad and see like the similarities, or my sister, or any of my good friends, especially the guys I live with. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Have you gotten? Wait, sorry. You can continue. My bad.
No, I was done. So
okay. So it sounds like you've gotten more conscious on, or more aware on who you've decided to surround yourself with as well.
Yes. Yeah. A little bit, but it's not like I do not want to. It's not like I don't want to hang out with people I used to hang out with. It's just that, like, I'll hang out with them during this sense. Like, I'll hang out. We'll go drink, or we'll go smoke, or we'll do whatever during, like, we can do whatever. It's just, like, knowing who to hang out with at the right time kind of deal. Because, like, I'll try to study with people, and we won't get anywhere. Or no studying will get done at all. And so it's just being around positive influences and knowing the difference.
Okay.
And, like,
and choosing those positive influences.
I have friends that are lazy, and just being like, okay, I can't be as lazy as them, or it's not going to work out for me. You know, even though it may work for them, kind of deal.
Yeah, totally. Because I like to see every like relationship you form is almost like, it almost is practice for in improving yourself as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I told my ex-girlfriend my junior year, she got so mad, dude. This girl, she said it was just one of those relationships where she cared about me a lot more, and I just kind of lost interest over time.
Yeah.
And I told her at one point, I'm like, honestly, like the way I see it is, I'm practice for your husband, because you're learning how you are as a. She did not like that, dude. She did not like that. And I'm like, yeah, all you are is I didn't word it like this. I'm like, all you are is practice for my wife.
Yeah, yeah, but like, I mean, that's the way that it was saw. That's the way it kind of was. So she might not like hearing that, but I mean, that helped clarify the relationship that you guys had. You know what I mean? And then find out that, oh, maybe we weren't meant to be together like this, or
right.
Yeah. So
the shitty relationships are just as important as the good relationships, because then you learn what you don't want.
Yeah. Or you learn that, like, oh, I did that wrong. That's completely my fault, or or I gotta watch out for these red flags next time, or something.
And you realize how much your ego takes control in situations like that, like in relationships, to where you won't admit your faults.
Yeah.
And then you got to get more real with yourself and look a little bit more introspectively, look a little bit more inward, and be like, yo, I'm wrong. Like, and it is what it is. Like, I'm wrong. Let's accept it and move forward.
And it's so hard. Like, it's just hard. Like, it's easy to not see, you know. Yeah.
hard to see.
Yeah. Or you don't see it until it's too late and you've already like blew up their relationship, or like the bridges have burned or anything like that, you know. So. But
then whenever those bridges do burn, you learn from your mistakes. If you're a progressing person, because I hope to improve upon every relationship and improve upon myself to enhance the quality of those relationships and just be as genuine and as authentic as possible.
Right, because like that's how you're gonna have all the best relationships, is just being absolutely genuine. So there's no like miscommunication, because that's what leads to problems.
I saw you tweet the other day. You can never communicate too clearly, and I was like, that shit is so true.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. How like we were talking about like just the English language and how like it's hard to just put things into words. It's like sometimes like
to like articulate your thoughts, kind of.
Yeah, and how like we were getting into it. We were talking about how like we just need like a binary code language deal, so there's not like you don't have to put it into words. It's more of like just it's either this or it's not type deal. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't know. You can express it to the exact point rather than just saying, "Oh, it's like this," or "It's like this." You know what I mean?
Instead of making a comparison to it, you can make an exact. So it's kind of the difference between like something being similar and identical. Kind of. It's like just English as a language, or like any language can say like a lot, but it can't like say it all, just because it's not. It's just a language, it's just a way of communicating, not like actual communication. So like, it's just hard to use. Like the English language doesn't work for communication all the time, just because it has holes in it, like anything else. Right. Yeah. So, that's true. We were just like thinking about like in the future, like if we changed our language and stuff like that, like what would it be? And like that's what kind of sprung that conversation of like, I don't know. Well, it's kind of the same idea. Most effective language, yeah. Like a picture speaks 1,000 words, and I think that's true in a lot of ways. Like I think nonverbal communication is a lot more important than like verbal. Yeah. So it's almost like how to implement that into our verbal communication as well. Yeah, very much so, because you can feel a lot more than you can say. You know what I mean? So it's like your feelings say more than 1,000 words kind of deal, and you only have like this many words to put it together with. You know? So, yeah. And dude, that takes a thinker to think like that, because honestly, the technology will not exist. Because I would like to think that we will move in that direction as a society as well, and eventually get there to where we're almost communicating like telepathically through like AI or something. Yeah. But yeah, that would be crazy. That'd be dope. That's what it like. That it'd be more effective that way if we can communicate. You know, like we'd be able to do more faster and whatnot. But it exists. It exists in nature. Think about, like think about ants. Think about bees. Think about birds. How they all fly together. Like that synchronized, just fluidity that nature works in perfect harmony. Like, what if we can implement that to humans as well? Yeah, and it's not like I think your quarter just fell on my foot. It's all good. I'm just playing with them. Yeah, and it's not that necessarily we don't do that already, because we do. Like, we have very complex communication and stuff for like any living species, but it can always be improved upon, I guess. So idealist, I like it. So you wanted to talk about as well, and I wanted to talk about it, getting the quote, "Get comfortable being uncomfortable." I'm gonna read that one more time. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, what would you say that means to you? It just means learning, putting yourself in positions to learn. You know, because anytime you're in an uncomfortable position, you're gonna learn a lot. So it's just. And like the everything's changing. Like you're gonna be put in uncomfortable situations. There's nothing you can do about it. So just like if you can be comfortable being uncomfortable, then you can like handle situations better and be yourself. You can never be thrown off guard. Yeah. Like, and you can handle curveballs, and you're more malleable. You can adapt to the situation a lot quicker than somebody who's not comfortable being uncomfortable. And there's no panic or there will be, but there shouldn't be as much panic as like, oh, new situation, new people, what am I going to do, as, okay, here's what's going on and what's happening, here's what we got to do. Right.
So
what growth would you say comes from like being uncomfortable? Because I think being uncomfortable, that's where a lot of growth comes from. Whether it's a sport, whether pretty much anything you want to improve on, anything.
So what was your question?
What growth do you think comes from being uncomfortable? Like what value does that
definitely
have?
Adaptability, and it could be like discipline too. Just it's like, this is, I don't know, this is new and different. I should just do it the same way I've been. I don't know. You know, like it can help you with discipline as well as like being adaptable. So I don't know. It's just a part of life, and it's just better to be comfortable. So try your best to be comfortable when you're not comfortable. And you'll be like, you'll just feel happier probably.
So what ways do you personally like to leave your comfort zone?
I like to meet new people a lot. So like, even if it's a person that I might not typically like get along with, I still want to like hear them out. Or like a lot of times like group projects and stuff like that where you're just with different people. That's what I like, because that's when I would feel most uncomfortable too. Like just learning from different people, different perspectives, really. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I would agree with that 100%, like 100,000%, because that's a huge reason why why I like this podcast so much. Because that's my biggest goal with this podcast, is to have a wide variety of people on, so that you can pick the minds of not just your buddies. Like if I was just going to go in my immediate circle, I'd get a lot of not the same people, but very similar in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
Versus if you can get people from just all across the board, then you can get a really well-rounded, and you can
learn more.
Pick and choose.
You can learn more.
Absolutely. Like even just in this conversation, I've learned a little bit, and I'm sure you did as well.
I'm sure you learn with everybody you have on here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm sure they learn as well. So.
That's what's cool about this too, because it's a product. If you want to think about it, if you want to think about the podcast as a product that's only improving, like every episode's going to get better because I'm getting better at it. I'm becoming a better conversationalist. I'm getting better at getting the right guests. I'm getting better at preparing the right questions.
Right.
So it's slowly getting better. So it's nice to invest money, time, and energy into something that's getting better, that's only improving.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, you know.
And it can only go up too.
Right.
I mean, the number of views I have right now total, it can only go up. It can't go down, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Optimist.
It might go down after I've been on here.
But Michael Eoff, -5 views.
But.
So you said you wanted to talk about the new rappers as well.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh goodness.
Oh, I really just wanted to hear what your thoughts were. To be honest. And then
well, you just that kind of summed it up right there. I think they are absolute garbage.
Yeah, you do.
I don't. And if you disagree, like, don't feel like a sense of need to acquiesce. Like
no.
I don't think they're very talented. I think they found a niche audience that, to be honest, not to classify everybody in that demographic, but they're kind of just like the ignorant people of society. Like I don't like this is the type of people that like. I don't know. I'm definitely generalizing because there's some really cool people that listen to that type of music.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, it's just. For me, like what my view on it is, it's just like creativity. Like those are just those type of people making music. So that's the way that their creative is expressed, is through that way. It might we might not understand it completely, or like it might not even mean anything, but it's just like the way they express. So
absolutely,
like just like any other art, like I'll look at some art and be like, I don't know what that means, or I don't understand that at all, but.
And that's what's cool, because art's so subjective, so it might speak to you, but not speak to me, or speak to person A, but not person B.
Right.
And I agree. That's really cool that they have that creative outlet, and they have found. I will admit this: they have found a very catchy genre of music that they've created on their own, and that's innovation, creativity, and as artists, you have to respect it.
Yeah.
You have to respect it.
Yeah. So like that's all I'm saying. Like I don't listen to that music all the time. I do listen to it sometimes, mostly in like social setting, but I don't know. I just respect it, I guess, just as music as any other person's music. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's the mindset I've been trying to take, just because I personally don't like the sound of it. I think I needed to detach from that, like my own personal views.
But I mean,
and kind of just realize the feeling it's giving other people.
Yeah, but it's not like you have to do that. If you don't like to listen to it, you don't have to mess around with it at all. You know what I mean? So, see, I like to listen to it sometimes. So, if I want to be a part of it, I could be. But if I don't know, if it's not your thing, then you don't have to listen to it. You know?
Right.
Like there's nothing you have.
It's an option.
You don't have to do anything with it, and you'll be completely fine. So you're not missing out on anything.
And I also want to clearly communicate. Like it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm just questioning it and the effects on the culture.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of like our elders have done with other rap music, which I think a lot of like Kendrick Lamar's, the J. Cole's, the Eminem's. I think they've made very positive influences on the culture of rap music and the culture and as a whole.
Yeah. And they're like, that's a good point. That's a very good point. So like other artists like Lil Pump and whoever else, they convey a lot of like those terrible messages, honestly. But I don't know. Like I don't think it has a good impact either. It's like especially because the audience is like younger kids who are more like influenced. So I don't know. I don't think it's a good thing.
Like Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. All my bitches love doing cocaine. I just fucked a bitch. I forgot her name. You know, like that's what people. I like to like act to kind of be more conscious, more aware, like you were saying earlier, of what goes into my mind because I think garbage in, garbage out. So I that's where I'm questioning it more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Fox News and all the others, they're questioning like people like Jay-Z and all the people that music I like to listen to as well. So it's pretty much the same mentality that I hold with those new rappers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely understand that too. Because if you listen to anything like that if you listen on repeat, it'll have effects on your like behavior and what you do. Like that's just human nature. So yeah, I don't know. I don't respect it either. Just like the degrading and the like whatnot, but it's just a part of their culture, part of like their society, so they just express it, so they're just, I don't know, it's just their people, different people, I guess. I think so that's the best I can do to understand, I guess, I don't know.
It's hard,
try my best.
I've had a difficult time empathizing with that part of the subculture, but I'm dealing with it, and it is catchy. It is catchy. There's some positive things to say about it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely deal with it without enjoying it either. So
right,
yeah,
and I think the cool thing about rap, for especially somebody like from our perspective, is people that came up from the struggle. That realistically, you and I, like we kind of won the lottery, man. Like we didn't have the hardest upbringing, Like we were very fortunate. I'm extremely grateful. I'm not bragging right now. I'm just expressing gratitude for the cards I was dealt in this life.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to be empathetic of the rappers that came up from these ghettos that they've basically been enslaved in, and make it into something that these people that started out with so much more than them listen to and enjoy, and now we look up to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though, well, I wouldn't say like you look up to them. I guess like some people do, but like that's part of it. Like it's like Lil Pump's like a 16-year-old kid saying all this nonsense, and like we can kind of like look at it and say, okay, this is what it is to us, and then like to them it's completely different. I don't know, maybe, but
like we might see it as garbage, but they see it as their new hero. Yeah,
or like they say like, oh, he did do well in the trap. He made it out the hood. Like, he was the best at this lifestyle, so he made it out. So, like, we gotta, or you gotta, like, that's what makes, like, kids empathize with them, or, I don't know, other people, not, whatever. So,
okay.
I don't know what I'm trying to say here, really.
You want to move on to the next topic?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I had two things that you mentioned you wanted to talk about. I didn't really know what you wanted to talk about because they're so broad. Yeah. But evolution.
I just thought they'd be good topics, just with like my history in school and whatnot.
Okay.
So I'm taking like an evolution class right now. I just think it's super interesting, and like
the forces of nature are just insane.
Absolutely,
so interesting.
And it's just insane how like you can take evolution and like apply concepts to like art or like schooling, like just the evolution concepts. Because like if you take it as like what it is, like the driving force of a lot of nature processes, then you can apply it to like the evolution of a lot of other things and coming from new, starting from nothing, and the sum of parts and everything. So you kind of like, it just gives you a perspective on different things too, because you can apply like those concepts to different things in your life, kind of.
Okay. So what are some concepts you've learned about evolution that are interesting to you?
There's a lot of stuff, like the sum of parts I think is really interesting. How
the sum of parts, you said?
Yeah. So it's part of evolution. It says like everything basically came from nothing. So it started out as like early molecules on Earth just somehow like came together and started to like sense light or perform functions or like analyze the environment. Next thing you know, like there's frogs hopping around from molecules and amphibian. I don't know. It just comes from nothing. Like there's nothing on the Earth to start out, and yet life evolved over time.
It's incredibly interesting that will to improve as a species, because I mean with 650 million years ago we broke off from fungi.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, we were mushrooms 650 million years ago. Like how does that happen?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. We don't know it yet, but it's just I don't know. It's crazy, absolutely. So, and it can just give you a lot of insight, like spiritually and just through the things you do, I guess.
And just how this world works.
It's like where you come from, and yeah.
Because it's not just working here on Earth; it's working all throughout the rest of the universe.
Yeah, and like I said, like when you apply that concept to like different parts of your life, you could just kind of say like how it works, and then know your place and your role too.
Right.
Mm-hmm. In the grand scheme.
It's incredibly fascinating. That's a topic I want to read.
That's why I study it. Like
really?
Yeah. Like part of it, like one of the reasons why I like chose my major and what I want to do is just like my interest in evolution and nature, natural history type stuff.
So what do you think piqued that curiosity about evolution?
Actually, when I was like, I don't know if you remember this even, because when I was younger, I had like toy dinosaurs like all over. I had like buckets and buckets of toy.
Would you bring them on the camping trips?
Sometimes, but I was kind of young still. Like those were like more like 5, 6, 7 ages, and then
nah, dude, this is going on at 15, 16.
I didn't like.
He's that guy in the corner playing with those dinosaurs. That's just Mike. Leave him alone.
He's just a nature nerd. Let him do his thing. But yeah, just like I don't know. I've always had an interest in it. A lot of it has had to do with like being out in nature as a kid, and my parents facilitating my interest. And yeah. I don't know.
Because those camping trips, dude, I know we already brought this up at the beginning of the podcast, but I think about that frequently, like how much of an impact that has on my life, because that really piqued my curiosity about nature and just other things. I remember I was actually thinking about this last night whenever I was kind of like running through some thoughts in my head on like what to ask you for this podcast, and I was remembering JD, one of the camping people we went with. I remember he said I was like the curious kid he's ever met with like some turtle, because you and I were walking around and we found it a shredded up turtle from a lawnmower, and I just remember being so like distraught about this turtle. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
It was shredded to fucking bits, man. And
was it in like a little field, like right behind our camper, kind of like we like hopped the fence or something, maybe?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I remembered it. Something about it then. It was like dried out and like old and
smelled like
it wasn't
shit.
Fresh.
I think we picked it up too.
Yeah. Or like yeah, probably. That sounds like something we do. So.
Probably got E. coli from that shit or something.
Probably threw it at my sister or I don't know.
Dude, those are fun though. Those honestly, like, I don't know, just being able to be out in the woods and explore, and that, because I consider myself a very curious person. I think that where that stems from. Mm-hmm. The upbringing with you.
And like, I don't know. It's just like a whole new place to learn that like people don't even get to go experience a lot of the time. So I don't know. It's just another aspect that, and it's like where our roots came from. We were all like, all of human nature like occurs in nature. It's not all buildings, obviously. So like that's where we came from.
Well, even buildings are nature. It's a form of nature.
A good point.
Mankind manipulating nature,
artificial. But, so it just kind of, I don't know, lets you be able to learn more, I guess, or
and it's cool
give the opportunity.
You and I had that opportunity growing up. Fortunately for us, that we were able to explore that outlet of going on those camping trips and shit. And instead, what if those weekends we were gone, what if we started playing video games instead?
Yeah, and then like it would just add on to our video game knowledge that we already have, pretty much.
Well, the ripple effect. We'd be different people. We'd be very different people if that never happened. Which is weird to think, because there's so much out of our control with who we are, which is why it's so funny that people will back up. They will fight with who they are as a person, but really it's just a lot of it's left up to chance, like the cards you were dealt in life and who you inherited as a father, who you inherited as a mother, like your genetics. Like there's so much at play that you really can't control.
Yeah, and like and you don't know like that's what it's doing either. Like no one knows like what instance made me like this, or like what I don't know, what gave me the appreciation for nature or stuff like that. You don't really know until you probably don't really know, honestly. So it's kind of hard to like pinpoint that and see, oh, I got this from, this is why I'm like this, and oh, I should probably change this thing about myself or something like that, because you don't even know until you just don't know. So
I think that's one of the coolest parts about being a person, though, just being able to psychoanalyze yourself and your own upbringing, and kind of like, oh, this is why I'm this way, this is why I'm this way.
Step outside your own head and then like kind of look at everything.
That detachment is absolutely essential for introspective thinking.
For just like, and even just like, with introspective thinking, that's like personal growth or just understanding others a lot too. So,
and another topic you want to talk about was the sustainability.
Yeah. So basically, I've just been watching like a TV show of these people in Alaska who like completely just live off the land and like hunt and fish and gather berries and like feed their families that way. So I thought that was extremely interesting. Just kind of wondered if you had thought about stuff like that, or I'm sure you had.
Kind of like the aspect of getting off the grid.
Yeah. And like after watching that show, I've thought about like maybe going and spending like 6 months somewhere, like see what I can do if I can survive, or I don't know. Just honestly, like seeing what you can learn from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you can learn a lot, I bet.
And just be like self-sufficient and know that you don't need anything if it came down to it or something, you know. So
not being dependent on the rest of civilization.
Yeah, or like
that independence.
I'm not dependent on Price Cutter to put vegetables out on Saturdays so that I can eat that week or something. You know,
right.
I don't know. So
I
just think that's really cool, and I think that's the way. Like, I think a lot of those sustainable practices are where like humans are gonna like go like down the future. Like our kids are gonna move away from like move away from the more industrial age, and like I don't know. I think the human population is gonna get smaller after like a long time, or it'll level out or something. So the sustainable practices will become a lot more like used and appreciated down the road as we evolve as a species.
That makes a lot of sense, because I think people we're starting to come to an age where we're really realistically we're in the adolescent stages of this phase, that people are starting to become a lot more informed. I think there's starting to be a very slow but real global shift in consciousness amongst most human beings, and I think that might start. That might shift, like, it'll definitely shift some culture of a lot of people, where it'll become a trend or a lifestyle trend that people will start to take up a lot more for whatever reasons. I think the internet's going to expose a lot more people to that, so that they see that as an option, you know? Like,
yeah, it's communication. Like, the internet just allows everybody on the earth to communicate with each other at any moment. So, like, any ideas spread quick, or just like you were saying, just knowing more, like how that's like once the internet was convinced, like that's how we've moved. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, everybody can know a lot more now just because it's all accessible, like it wasn't before.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah, very much so.
So what would you say you've learned a lot about, like, with the internet? Like, what is how has the internet impacted you as a person?
Honestly, I've never been like super computer oriented or like that. Like, I never sit down and watch YouTube videos for hours like a lot of people do. I don't know. I'm not a huge internet person.
Are you a gamer?
I'm a gamer, but not even that much anymore. I gamed a lot more in like high school.
Okay.
And now it's like I can get into a game every now and then, but it's not like gaming is not the only thing I do, for sure. But I don't know.
But as far as getting off the grid, I've given that some thoughtful consideration. I don't know. Like, I think the same thing as you, and I think you have the personality type, man. Like, I could see you doing something like a getting away type of thing for living more like a nomadic lifestyle away on your own, self-sufficient.
Yeah. Which I think that would really interest me, and I would feel good doing doing something like that for sure. But will it ever happen? I don't know. I'd have to have the time and the money and whatnot to get it done. But it's also just half like a 6 months of your life that you're kind of like just stepping out of. So if I have to do that, or if I have the means to do it, I'll consider it. But that's not like a super plan in my future.
Right. And the opportunity cost of doing that, like, you're missing out on 6 months of your life and what you could be doing other things. If that's what your choice is. I don't know. I think it would be really cool to do that. I've given it some consideration, but I agree. It's not like
it's hard to.
There's so much other stuff.
Yeah, and it's just like hard to like leave like relationships and come back 6 months later and like try to pick it up like nothing happened.
Were you planning to do this like whenever you imagine yourself doing this? Are you thinking by yourself or with like one other individual, maybe a girlfriend or wife at the time, or?
I'm open to doing it with other individuals. I just would think to do it alone. I don't know. Okay. And if I did it, I probably wouldn't do it to where like I'll be like stuck here for 6 months. I don't know if I'd do it like that, or if I just like go and like kind of be there for 6 months and still have like my car to go see my family, or like, you know, not just like be stuck out there like a
right.
Like not go completely off the grid. Just like I'll be able to do things if I need to.
Kind of like a backpacking.
Yeah. I'd be about something like that.
Okay, that's what I would prefer doing that than getting off the grid. Because there are so many benefits to society as well. Like,
yeah.
But it would be cool to detach from that, even for like 2 weeks,
just to see what it's like. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know if I think if I were to do something like that, like getting off the grid, I would like to build a sense of community and make it almost like a bonding experience, and ideally to do it with like 4+ people or something like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like if you had like a group of like 10 dudes, you start a community like after college or something, that'd be cool.
That would be dope.
It'd be a little weird, but it'd be fun.
Even if it's just like short-lived, you know, like it'd be super sick.
We're just there for a year and then head out, go back to our old lives or something. I don't know.
But then again, like the whole ripple effect, like we were saying, like, would you even want to go back to normal life?
You might not. Like, yeah, you might discover that that's peaceful and that's the way you want to do it, or that's the way you're happiest, if that's what you so discover. But you got to put yourself out there if that's, or, you know, give yourself that opportunity.
Absolutely.
To learn.
Absolutely. It would be cool to be detached from all the distractions of the modern society. Yeah,
just because, like, we've just been in the middle of it our entire lives, so it's just, I don't know, it'd be cool to, like, be able to step outside of the box and look around, or, like, try to reconnect with, like, how ancient humans lived, or, you know, your DNA, like, your instincts, a lot of it, so. Right. Yeah. Well, do you want to call us quits? I guess so. We did well, though. Yeah. It was fun.
By the way, I like that watch. That's a cool watch.
You. It's new, actually.
No
birthday
way.
present.
Hey, early birthday present.
Yeah, early birthday present. The best kind.
Oh, yeah. Well, I enjoyed this a lot, really. I enjoyed this a lot, Mike. This has been... I would say this has been one of my more enjoyable podcasts, honestly.
Good.
It's hard to rank them now. Like, I'm starting to get to the point I have, I think that this is episode 30, actually. Mm-hmm. And, so I have enough now to where it's like it's hard to choose just one.
And they're each so different, I feel like, because everybody's different. You have different aspects of each different topic, so...
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's all different.
And it might pique whatever might pique my curiosity might not pique your curiosity.
Yeah, or like some of the other people you have on the show, for sure.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.
Cool. Well, we are donezo. Thank you for watching if you made it this far.
Yep.
And
Mike,
bye-bye.
Peacing out.
Yeah, we deucing. We outie here.